Hi there. It's been a little while since I did a vlog. I think the last one I did was Ecstatic Dance where, where I twisted my ankle. So that was what? Gosh, was that 2 weeks ago? Every day is Blur's Day and time flies. But it's been a while and I felt the need to do one again. I feel like I've been out of touch with so many people. And I wanted to get back in touch. So today was the first day that I actually picked up an art project, one of my commissioned items, and did it for a client who wants to pick something up. And I've got a few more to do. I hadn't really worked on anything since COVID hit, aside from the classes that I teach. And I actually taught my first class since moving in here today. Pardon me, I was talking quite a bit today, so my voice is a little bit shot. We had a class that we started to do last month, but my internet was insufficient. So I switched from CenturyLink to a local fiber optic company, and it's working a lot better. Internet's secure. So I did a number of firsts, or a number of firsts in a long time today. The painting for a client and an art class, a private one, and now a vlog again for the first time in a while. I think I've only done a couple of vlogs since I moved in here. My voice is a little on the hoarse side, not only because I had to talk over some loud music that was playing during our art class, but also because we're getting really bad smoke moving through here. We're in the middle of a historic heat wave. It's normally not this hot, this far north in September, but temperatures were pushing 100, which is hot for Oregon because this is the land of no central air. So we have to have our windows open. But today, having our windows open is really a challenge because we've got forest fires that are billowing huge amounts of thick, heavy smoke. I had to go close a window. Things were falling down inside my house from the level of wind that's blowing through here. So I don't know if this is wind generated by forest fires or wind that's exacerbating forest fires, but I'm telling you, heat and humidity and high temperatures and wind and smoke it's a rather apocalyptic combination, but it is 2020, so there's that. So anyway, I got it into my mind that I wanted to do a vlog tonight after my art class, and I asked people on Facebook, what do you want me to talk about? So I'm gonna go check because I've been busy for the last 2 hours teaching art and I haven't had a chance to see what people were saying. So let me go quickly here. Quickly being the operative word. Go to my timeline and see what people suggested regarding what I should talk about. Okay. 13 comments. Let's see what people said. The first comment is fear, as in no control, letting go. Yeah, that's a relevant topic for me, for I'm sure a lot of us. So there's that one. Harnessing the power of the inner child. And along with that, how to skip to the top of the self-actualization pyramid. Oh, yeah, that's my self-appointed cousin, Vicky, who is wanting to spiritually bypass Maslow's hierarchy and go all the way to the top. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice if I could figure that out, Vicky? I wouldn't have to teach art classes or sell my art. I could just play. I would have all the money in the world. Why the Native Americans used peyote? Well, I know why. Same reason why the South Americans used ayahuasca and the Africans used iboga. Transformation. But maybe I'll talk about that. The shadow of art. How art is or can be used to externalize our desires. That's intriguing. Your ideal place to live in the world. Wow. I think I'm there. Not just my home state of Oregon. I'm a 7th generation Oregonian, but this apartment, yeah. Okay. Anal pleasure from none other than Glenn Klein. And Glenn, I did that talk. It's on your podcast. I did it, what, 2 years ago, a year ago? I'm trying to remember when that was. QAnon and the shadow. Yeah, that QAnon is the projection of the shadow. That would be another excellent talk. Let's see, perhaps you could help me decide. I have a problem, a few actually, but who doesn't? This one is weighing heavy on me. I'm an artist. I digitally paint. I paint with paint. I burn wood, pyrography. I make my own paper wicker. Wow, reclaimed from junk mail and newspapers, and weave baskets from it. I draw many things, but a favorite is mandalas. Yes, one of my favorites too. I am a devotee of the ancient Asian art of kiri with a oh, wait, let's see more. Paper cutting, yes. And practiced in Eastern Europe. I crochet afghans and sweaters and hats and stuffed toys. I make a really cute baby Yoda. I read real books and online virtual books. I'm a calligrapher and a writer. Plus, I spend a lot of time on my computer. I wear and have worn glasses since I was about 8, and all waking hours since I was 12 until I got contacts, which I wore exclusively until my mid-40s when I needed bifocals. And astigmatism correction, the contacts were not providing me, so I went back to glasses. Well, this is a really long comment. Okay, really long, still scrolling. Okay, so I'm not sure what the question is here. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of like where to allocate funds, given that she's a rather prolific artist. Yeah, I'm thinking, honey, this is probably a coaching session rather than a vlog post. Well, we will talk. We will talk. Yes, we will talk. Is that it? Is that it? So we have QAnon, anal pleasure, not to be confused. Ideal place to live in the world, the shadow of art. Skip this one. How about the session you had a couple of days ago? Yes, I had what's called a Christic healing session with my friend Nicole Freed, and I do need to write that up. It was rather profound, but I want to listen to the whole thing first so I can get it more objectively than experientially, and then write about my experience. It was profound. That's all I can say. Yeah. How to skip to the top of the self-actualization pyramid, harnessing the power of the inner child, fear, letting go, having no control. And why Native Americans use peyote. Actually, a lot of these things can kind of go together. But I like to talk about fear and losing control and letting go. That sounds like a good one right now, and I have no idea what I'm going to say, okay? I'm winging it. I'm totally winging it here. Fear. I've heard it stands for a couple of different acronyms. False evidence appearing real, faith, everything, and release. Yeah, I've also heard that love and fear are polar opposites, and that all there is really is love, and that fear and anger and grief are merely the lenses that skew our perspective of love, that love is everything. Love is the source. Love is that which permeates the entire universe. Love is that which makes up the very atoms that create everything in the material realm, including us. Love is our nature. And fear would be, I don't believe it's the antithesis of love. I really don't. I believe that fear is a well-meaning misguided energy that has a very limited vocabulary that wants the best for us. So for me, what I've come to realize is that fear is that part of me that wants to keep me safe. It wants to keep me alive, but it really does have a limited vocabulary. All that fear can say to me is run or freeze or fight. And there's a fourth F. Actually, so flee, freeze, fight, or fawn, which would be to kiss up, to people please, to acquiesce. And when we feel fear, we have those options. And fear is something we feel initially, early in childhood. It's that conclusion we come to as a limited child who's very emotional. We don't yet have the means by which to determine a cognitive, mental conclusion about what's happening to us. So we go right to the emotional realm and we conclude that we are not safe. We are in danger. We could be decimated. We could die from the thing that is happening to us if it threatens us, if we feel frightened, if we are afraid, if we have fear. It's our friend. It wants to keep us alive, but it's very primitive. It's part of the lizard or reptilian level of our brain, the amygdala. So it's doing the best it can to make sure that we survive. And fear will shut down anything. In fact, it considers anything it's unusual or unfamiliar or slightly alarming, slightly, even something that's exciting. Fear will conclude that that's a threat and it will shut that thing down. Yeah, I'll talk about that for a second. So there's this thing called the 5-second rule. I think I've mentioned it in blogs before. And it's not when you drop food on the floor and you've got 5 seconds to retrieve it, or else it turns into, I don't know what, it gets fuzzy or something. Not like crumbs and dog fur and cat fur doesn't get on it within the first 5 seconds. But anyway, it's not that rule. It's not that 5-second rule. When we have a thought, an inspiration, an idea that comes to us, we've got 5 seconds before our amygdala will shut that sucker down, because this new thing is a threat to that part of our brain. So let's say we have the idea that we should talk to that person. We should pick up the phone and call that person, whether it's about a job interview or someone we want to initiate contact with or whatever. We get the idea, I should call that person. Within 5 seconds, that thing, that primitive lizard brain thing will say, oh, no, that's scary, that's threatening. You could be rejected, that you could get turned down, it might not go well. I mean, it floods us with all of these objections as to why we should not do that thing, why we should not call that person, okay? We've got 5 seconds to begin to take action on that thing before that thing will shut down that idea. So the way to combat that, a simple brain hack, a trick, a tool that you can use to overcome the amygdala's shutdown in those first 5 seconds is to I'm not speaking well, is to start counting down backwards. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do the thing. Whatever the thing is, whether it's getting out of the car because you don't want to get out of the car because it's cold outside, whether it's turning out the water in the shower because you really need to get out of the shower to do your day, whether it's to do that really tough project you're putting off, whether it's to start folding the laundry, start doing your taxes. I did that this week. I had to count down to do it. Calling that person, doing that resume, reaching out, initiating that really cool, inspirational idea that you just had, whatever it is. If you start counting down, what that does is it shifts from the lizard brain to the prefrontal cortex, because the very act of counting down puts it into a higher cognitive level, You can use the front of your brain, the higher part of your brain, not the lizard, not the mammal, but the higher functioning human part of your brain to do that thing. So again, get the idea. Before lizard brain can take over in 5 seconds, you count down, you take over. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you do that thing, because the very act of counting down shifts it from lizard brain to higher functioning brain. So try it on everything. I mean, really, even if it's just, I should really fold my laundry, I don't feel like it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pick up that first thing and start. I really want to reach out to that person, but I'm concerned about what might happen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pick up the phone and start. That's how it works. So 5-second rule. Not as useful if you drop a piece of pizza face down on the floor. You might want to throw that in the trash can. So back to fear. Thing I've noticed about fear is it doesn't really matter how I grow, how many times I overcome fear, how many times I use the 5-second rule, how many times I get all crazy brave and do something. Fear is going to show up. It's part of being human. It's just there. So the idea, I think, is to become friends with your fear. Yeah. Even the big, scary, hairy ones. Yeah. So let's say you've got a really intense fear. It could be specific. It could be a phobia. It could be, I don't know. There's something that plagues you. We all have them. We may even have a myriad of them. But think of something specifically that really frightens you. Maybe it's something from your childhood, a phobia in particular, whatever it is, just kind of bring it to mind. And you can right away feel this like resistance, right? Like you don't want to do that thing. You don't want to face that. You don't even want to think about that thing right now while I'm asking you to. That's the nature of fear. If you let yourself think about it and envision it, let's say you're imagining it as something really scary, because things in the dark, things in the future, things in the subconscious are scary. Whatever's in the dark is scary. Things in the closet, you know, the monster in the closet, the monster under the bed, the things on the far side of the moon, things in the dark that go bump in the night, things that might happen in the future that we can't project or control. Those things are scary. So imagine that thing you're afraid of as this scary dragon in the closet. And you're going to visualize that closet door opening and that dragon coming out and looking at you. He's going to look you in the eye and he's going to start huffing and puffing, smoke billowing from his nostrils, a little bit of fire coming from his mouth, and he starts to charge you. Now you've got fear's response, right? Fight, flight, fee, or fawn. Well, you're not going to like talk to the dragon. You're afraid of the dragon. Running, maybe. Freezing, maybe. Fighting, maybe. But those are all fear responses to the dragon. What if instead you did the counterintuitive thing and you looked that dragon in the eye and you said, come at me, have your way with me, and you just took it. You just opened yourself up to the onslaught of the dragon and let it come at you full force. Yeah, I mean it. Now, there aren't any real dragons. You're not going to be mowed down by a literal dragon, but the fears in your mind, they can come on like metaphorical dragons. So say, come on, come get me, thing I'm afraid of. Come have your way with me. Each and every time I have done this, without a single exception, I see that dragon charging me, running at me, and I brace myself and I just, you may as well. You're going to get me inside out, diagonally, subconsciously. Anyway, I may as well face you and take you on. And when that dragon gets right in front of me, do you know what I see each and every time? A dust bunny. Fangless, smokeless, no fumes, no flames, a dust bunny. Every time. It's laughable. That thing that I have been so afraid of facing, whether it's doing my taxes or doing an art project or doing a class again or having a hard conversation with somebody or picking up the phone and getting some news that I don't think I want to get, whatever it is, if I face the thing head on, so far, it's never been as bad as I imagined it would be. And there are times, of course, when we get really bad news, really hard things we have to hear. Someone dies, plans fall through, we get disappointed, 2020 comes and we can't do all the things that we had anticipated doing, or we lost money, or, you know, things happen. It's life, it happens. And of course it hurts. But I'm talking about those things that we fear for a long period of time, those things that haunt us, those things that drive us from the underground, from the subconscious, and we act like it's fate, like we're at the mercy of it. Face that thing. Face those things. It can't be worse than shoving those things down and living with those things. I mean, envision with me. You're in a pool and there's all these beach balls, right? Let's say there's a dozen of them. And you're trying to shove down all the things you don't want to look at, all the things you don't want to think, all the things you don't want to feel, all the things you don't want to experience, all the things you don't want to face. You are shoving down those beach balls with your arms, with your legs, with your head, with your torso. You can't keep them all underwater. They're going to pop up. Your subconscious fears are like that. They want to pop up. It's why we get triggered. It's why life and your soul loves you so much that it will make sure that you get triggered on each and everything that you need to face, because when they're under the surface, they are festering like gangrene. And I don't care how many Band-Aids you put on the surface to hide those things, you're not gonna hide gangrene with Band-Aids, and it's certainly not going to heal it or cure it. You got to get that stuff out. It needs to come to the surface for healing. We need healing. We all get wounded in childhood. Nobody escapes childhood unscathed. And then the rest of our life, you might think it's plan B, that you have to face all of these things and get healing, but it's really what life's about. We get wounded, and then we get healed. And there's so many different ways to get healing, so many different ways, so many amazing ways. And when healing comes, the relief, the joy, the freedom, the expansion, when that resistance is gone, then joy and freedom and expansion come pouring in, and you get to live life. You get to be you. Not this person shoving down all the beach balls and trying to control your life in a way that is unsustainable and exhausting. But you get to be you, as you are. You get to face that it's okay to have your flaws, the things you think that there's something wrong about you. We've all got those. We're all the walking wounded, every single one of us. We're all struggling with all kinds of things. Some of them are huge and some of them are little. Some of them get resolved and some of them we carry with us. I happen to believe that there's a way to heal all of them, but it takes what it takes to get there at times. There's nothing wrong with you because something's wrong with you. You're normal, you're human. Oh, sorry, I used the N word, normal. Sorry about that. Yikes. You're human. You're beautifully unique like everybody else. You can learn to accept whatever you think are your flaws. You can learn to give yourself grace. You can learn to trust yourself, like yourself, love yourself. I'm wearing my favorite perfume right now. Nobody can smell me. I haven't gone anywhere. Well, Okay, I picked up my kids yesterday. We went to the dollar store. We went to Safeway. I mean, I've gone places like that, but I haven't gone anywhere to do anything in weeks. It's me in my place. I go out for a run every day. I interact with people to a degree. I have a downstairs neighbor. I see her. I see my kids. But I wore a dress I like to wear, and I put on my favorite perfume, and I put on makeup because I like me, and I want to celebrate feeling good about me. Even if it's just for a vlog, just for an art class, just because. Sometimes I put that perfume on just because I like how it smells. I like to feel good about me, and that's okay. This isn't narcissism. Self-love is not the same as narcissism. In fact, if anything, narcissism is compensation for a total lack of self-love. Most of us are a composite of things we really like and admire about ourselves and things we don't. And we have different degrees of health depending on what kind of stresses are going on in our lives. And right now, with all that's going on with COVID, with the economy, with uncertainty about everything, with being separated from people we love, stresses are high. And it's time for some self-compassion, self-empathy, self-understanding, self-acceptance, and yeah, self-love. And self-love doesn't mean you wait till you feel loving about yourself before you take care of yourself. It means doing the loving things that you would do for anybody else you love for yourself. Taking those loving actions, and then the feelings of self-love show up. They catch up. Actions first. It is valid and required that we take care of ourselves, that we love ourselves into a place of good health. Whatever that looks like, whatever it takes. It could be different for each of us. So that's what I gotta say about fear, at least here and now. As for control, we grab for control when we feel out of control, when we feel uncertain, when we feel like we don't have a say in our lives, when we're at the mercy of something. So when I find myself trying to grapple with control, when I feel like I want to make something happen, that's when I need to let go of anything outside of me. And I need to look inside. How am I feeling out of control with myself? Have I let myself lapse into distrusting myself? Have I let myself down in some kind of way? Am I dropping the ball with something personally or professionally? Where do I need to pay attention to my own internal needs? And when I've done that, when I've taken care of me in all the different ways that I need to be taken care of, things start to fall into place. And then I don't feel the need to try to control outside of me, because in that sense, control is an illusion. I can let go of the outcome I may want to have and trust. Letting go is a tricky one, you know, because letting go can feel like something we have to make ourselves do, right? Like, I'm not letting go well enough. And it can feel like I'm failing at letting go. I mean, look, my hands are even in fists as I'm saying that. That energy is tight, it's restrictive, constrictive. I don't like to think about the letting go part. For me, it's more about surrendering. Surrendering to something bigger than me and my limited perspective on how a thing, a situation, anything should go. There are a lot of times when I literally get on my knees. I've got this Freudian sofa. I love the irreverence of kneeling in front of a Freudian sofa and surrendering my everything to my soul's purpose. I surrender everything I can think of. So I break it down to my emotions, my thoughts, my words, my intentions, my actions, my attitude, my inspiration, my intuition, my intentions, my body, my mind, my heart, my gut, my everything, my conscious and subconscious minds, everything I can think of, I ask for it all to be aligned with my soul's purpose. And I will literally, on my knees, lift my hands, kneeling in front of my Freudian sofa over my grandmother's needle-pointed stool. And I will ask for help from Source, from Yeshua, from my Nana, from my friend Nellie, who recently crossed over, and I feel her, so I talk to her. I talk to all of those entities, all of those manifestations of Source, and I ask them to help me, to speak to me, to guide me, to help me get through these things that feel too overwhelming for me, the mere human, like, hello, human here on Earth in an Earth suit needing help from all that is. Help. Align me with my soul's purpose, because I don't want to miss out on that. Not one iota of my soul's purpose. I want every single thing that I showed up here to experience in this lifetime. I don't want to be cheated out of any of that. I don't want to settle for something else. I don't want to sell myself short. I don't want to give in to the fear of the dragon in the closet that's really a dust bunny, and keep myself from having everything my soul intends me to have in this lifetime. So I align with it. I don't want to strive or force or use exertion or power or make something happen. I want to align with everything that I am meant to be and have and experience. Everything. I don't want to be cheated out of any of it. And I don't know how to bring it about. That's above my pay grade. I don't know the when and the how. I know the why. I know the what. I think I know the who. But the rest of it is outside of my domain. So I need to surrender to it. So for me, the concept of letting go feels like just another efforting thing. But surrendering, that's like, have your way with me. Universe, Source, soul. And then I say, thank you. Thank you for the most benevolent outcome. Sometimes that's really hard. Surrendering might be the most empowered thing I ever do. I do it often. Every time I feel myself getting tight with fear and uncertainty, control, I surrender. See, I believe my desires are sacred. Fear is my friend. My desires are sacred. I'm meant to have them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have them. I wouldn't have the desires if I wasn't meant to have them fulfilled. But there is a trusting that's required. There is a surrendering that's required. It's like choosing to live my life as a surrendered experience. I think that there is about all I need to say about that there. I don't know if I answered anybody's questions. I don't know if I muddied the waters or brought clarity. I don't know. I do not know. But I said what felt alive in me, what felt passionate in me, and hopefully that speaks to somebody somewhere. So until next time, when I'll talk about who knows what, that's what I need to say about that. Thanks for listening. And if you do have ideas about things you would like me to meanderously muse about, then send me your ideas, because I love to talk about all kinds of things. This life is endlessly fascinating. There's so much to explore. And I feel like the best part of my life of exploring everything is still ahead of me. So let's explore together. How's that sound? Talk to you later.